Hello, I'm happy to welcome you to the Scale Toolkit series by Global Schools Forum. Our mission is to empower early stage education organizations in low and medium income countries, providing them with the tools and best practices they need to scale effectively, and sharing our learnings at the Impact at Scale Labs program. Today, we'll be diving into the stakeholder mapping tool, a tool designed to strengthen the disability aspect of your solution as part of the DVF framework. For those unfamiliar with the DVF framework, DVF stands for Disability, Viability, and Feasibility. And the DVF framework is central to our approach at the Impact at Scale Labs. It outlines fundamental components that an organization needs to prepare for scale. We've also created a DVF assessment, which can help you reflect on your priorities and understand how this specific tool aligns with your overall skill journey. If you haven't yet undertaken the DVF assessment, we highly recommend you doing so. You can easily find it on the Scale Toolkit website. But for now, let's dive into the stakeholder mapping toolkit. On this stakeholder mapping journey, we will explore what stakeholder mapping is and how to build a stakeholder map. We will delve into a fictional example of an organization who has mapped their stakeholders. Finally, we will discuss what to do after mapping your stakeholders. Stakeholders are people, groups, or organizations with a vested interest or stake in the decision making, activities, or outcomes of a solution or an organization. They can be internal or external. This session focuses on helping you nurture the right relationship with these stakeholders in a strategic way. Generally, a stakeholder map helps your team to understand who the stakeholders for a project are, their characteristics, and how to engage with them effectively. At the end of this stakeholder mapping exercise, you should have the list of stakeholders involved in the project, the groups or categories they belong, and an understanding of how to interact with each one of them. How do you create a stakeholder map? To create a stakeholder map, you start by developing the stakeholder list. Bring your team together to explore the potential stakeholders involved in the project at various levels. Try not to overlook anyone at this stage. Include organizations, individuals, or groups that are affected by your project and those whose actions may impact the success or progress of your project. Next, start to map the stakeholders based on their characteristics. Consider using the stakeholder matrix as shown in the diagram here. Try to understand the level of their interest as well as their influence. Interest refers to how concerned the stakeholder is about the outcomes of your work, while influence refers to the power a stakeholder has to impede or facilitate your project success. In the next slide, we discuss what type of relationship you should have with each stakeholder category. Your relationship with each stakeholder category can be instrumental in the success of your solution, especially while trying to scale. For stakeholders in the high interest, high influence quadrant, you must manage them very closely. Be as transparent as required in how you are delivering your solution. Keep them informed of your milestones and how you are meeting them. Engage and consult with them regularly and continue to keep their focus on the progress of your solution. If a stakeholder falls in the high interest, low influence quadrant, remember to keep them informed about the progress and the effects of the solution. You may involve or consult them on interest areas in designing or delivering your solution. They can be great ambassadors of your solution if you use them well. Stakeholders who fall in the low interest, high influence quadrant need to be kept satisfied. Reflect on what they might need and try to meet them. As their needs might not be directly related to your project, anticipate their needs and work to meet them. You may also try to increase their interest in your solution or organization. Stakeholders who fall in the low interest, low influence quadrant need to be well monitored. While they have little impact or interest in your project, you need to keep an eye out that these remain as such. However, they require minimal contact to manage. Do not overlook any of your stakeholders. Instead, continue to strengthen their interest in your solution and their motivation to support the successful delivery of your solution. Therefore, a stakeholder map is not a one-time activity. It should be visited regularly to ensure your stakeholder engagement strategies are still effective and giving you the leverage needed to deliver your solution. Further illustrates the process of mapping your stakeholders. We are sharing the case of Edu Empower India, a non-profit organization that aims to improve literacy rates in underprivileged urban communities through a teacher training program. As seen in the table below, Edu Empower listed various stakeholders who potentially were interested and or held strong influence over the course of their solution's conception and delivery. This included funders, specific arms or agencies of the government, some members of the school community, as well as partners who are directly or indirectly involved in the implementation of the solution. As you may observe, this cuts across the various aspects of their organization. In this slide, we see how EduEmpower stakeholders are grouped on the matrix. Local teachers, the schools, international donors, and the education ministry hold very strong influence and are highly vested in the outcomes of the solution. The EduEmpower team must manage this group closely as discussed earlier. This group holds significant power that could elevate or derail the solution. Students and individual donors are heavily interested in EduEmpower's solution, but they have lesser power over the delivery of the solution. EduEmpower must keep this group informed and provide avenues for them to give feedback on the delivery of the solution. Local governments and parents for this solution are listed as high influence, low interest. Perhaps that means that for EduEmpower's context, while these stakeholders might not pay utmost attention to the outcomes of the project or be deeply affected, they have the power to influence how successful the solution becomes. Thus, they must be duly kept satisfied. What should you do after mapping stakeholders? A good option is to put all that knowledge into action. Consider developing engagement strategies, which provide approaches required to satisfy each stakeholder group. Another thing to do would be communicating with these stakeholders. Do your best to tailor your communication to the appropriate stakeholder group. Some may require regular interaction, while others are best with seldom interactions. Some might want high-level updates, while others might prefer granular details. Remember that effective communication is key to managing relationships. Another step is to keep your map up to date. As your project evolves, monitor the interest and influence levels of your stakeholders and adjust your map and engagement strategies accordingly. Finally, leverage the strength of your stakeholders. Determine how they may aid or mar your project. Look for opportunities to bring their strengths and resources to further the goals of your solution. I hope this tool has provided further clarity around stakeholder mapping for your organization. Now that we've explored the stakeholder mapping tool, you're better positioned to enhance your strategy, especially in your disability. To gain a comprehensive perspective on your strategy, please revisit your DVF assessment scores. If you haven't taken the assessment yet, now is the perfect time. It offers a holistic view, illustrating how tools like the stakeholder mapping tool align with your broader scaling objectives. Global Schools Forum is with you in your journey to scale. For additional strategy tools and inspiring case studies, please visit
the Scale Toolkit website. I wish you all the best.